What's going on YouTube? My name is Jacob, and today I want to talk about Halo 5 and the business practices that 343 has injected into our beloved franchise. Halo, one of the most well-known games of all time which cannot be denied, has finally been infected by a shitty business tactic that one infamous game has created, Advanced Warfare, produced by Activision and Sledgehammer, also known as the bitches that created a gambling system for kids. Now, everyone played Halo 2 at its prime. It was an epic title when it came down to console gaming. Everyone loved the competitive nature of that game. It was like a drug, and I will be the first one to admit, I fucking loved it, and I got hooked. Halo 3 was even more of an improvement. I spent unhealthy amounts of time playing that game, reaching general rank twice because I had lost my first medal due to the infamous issue called the Ring of Death. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You come back from school or work or both, excited as shit to fuck some noobs in Halo, and boom! The fucking Ring of Death appears, and naturally you flip your shit and you say goodbye to your katana sword. But with this commentary, I want to point out and hopefully make you understand that the business practices that 343, the new caretakers of Halo, have implemented are wrong for the Halo community and a slap to the fucking face. Now, if you recall back in previous Halos, unlike Halo 5, they had a very different system when it came down to the vehicles and the power weapons. This system mostly revolved around the skill of learning where the power weapons would spawn as well as the vehicles, and eventually how much time it would take for a tank or a sniper rifle to respawn. But now with the latest installment of Halo, you can now purchase, which are essentially supply drops from Advanced Warfare. Just, different name and shit, like if we're fucking stupid enough not to notice the similarities. Now with this system, you can now disrupt the flow of combat by becoming an unstoppable force of nature, if you're willing to spend that cash for it. Or you can always grind for the gold pack so you can unlock all the power weapons, tanks and overshields and shit like that. But the problem with that is that it takes so long to actually grind for the gold packs that it's borderline pushing you to spend the money so you can get to use all this cool shit that originally should have been available for everyone. And I know because that's what I'm currently doing right now. And I know because of experience that grinding out for the gold packs and trying to get all the cosmetic items in the game, or the armor pieces, which, they have a shit ton of them. It's so time consuming that it's like the game itself is shoving down, gold packs down your throat. They want you to dish out the money. Now, I went back on Halo 5 like a month ago and it just killed me inside a little. The fact that they are so aggressively trying to sell all these microtransactions. Now, this leads me to believe one of two things. One, either 343 is having a significant amount of success with this business practice, or two, they are getting desperate to make up some of the dough since Halo 5 had some poor sales. And when I say that, I mean it didn't compare to what Halo 3 was able to do at its release. The Halo 5 beta was a perfect example. The playtime was really low, and I know that 343 noticed this shit, and I assume that putting in the rec point system was their way of ensuring a significant amount of return on their investment. And they did that by basically taking advantage of gullible people. And it was a sad thing to see, because one thing that was very clear from these $99 gold packs and $45 gold packs is that the Halo that I so much enjoyed and loved and had so much fun memories and epic moments and the whole bonding with friends was, slowly decaying. Now, I made a statement in a previous video in regards to Advanced Warfare supply drops. And just bear with me, it all ties together, in which I basically said that the supply drops that Advanced Warfare came up with are like a parasite, which will spread to other games. Other companies will see how profitable it is to have, these RNG systems, which means they will be less encouraged to actually add real replayability to the game. And now it did, and it did to one of the games that heavily relies on skill. For me, and for a lot of other players, this is a total game breaker and completely unacceptable, as well as something that should not overstay its welcome. Because traditionally, you would unlock new armor pieces and whatnot through a progression system. For example, in Halo 3, you would get a katana sword or a flaming helmet and shit like that once you reach the general rank, if I recall correctly. And that basically meant that you had fucking skill. Not only did you know it, but other players would notice that as well. I mean, they would see you coming towards them with a freaking katana sword on your back and a flaming helmet, and it was like, yeah, this guy is not fucking around. I should be more aware of his presence. Simply because it meant that you had reached a certain milestone that perhaps they weren't able to reach as of yet, or simply didn't have the skill to do so. Halo Reach was a perfect example on how you didn't need RNG to get some cool shit. In my opinion, Halo Reach was a masterpiece when it came down to how to properly do a progression system. You needed to, reach certain ranks for different armor pieces. Not only that, but you also had to buy them with in-game credits that would honestly could take a while to earn, which was due to how expensive these armor pieces were. But the cool thing was that it went back to the skill that each player had, because the more time you would spend in matchmaking, the more skill you had, which meant you could show off these milestones that took you so long to reach, and people would like that. People feared those those types of players, but everyone wanted to reach those levels and be an ultimate fucking badass. This was done with the RNG system and it worked perfectly. People got hooked on Halo Reach and previous Halos. They all wanted that maximum rank. They all wanted to reach those badass armor pieces. Now this infection can be stopped, and it has to be stopped at one point, and we as a community have the power to do it. Now we can't do it alone as individuals, simply because the voice of a single person is just not enough to make a change, but standing together as a whole can make a difference. We can make a difference. We can make a change, and this change will ultimately benefit the Halo community. It's gonna benefit your ass. It's gonna benefit my ass. This is something very important that every Halo player should think about long and hard, and that's what she said. This gambling simulator was born from Advanced Warfare, and it forever will be a monument to its sins. But let's not let the future of Halo become a gambling simulator. We must save Halo. If you're passionate about Halo and its future, if you had epic battles and made long-lasting friendships and bonded with your comrades within the Halo matchmaking, and most importantly, you consider yourself a self-respected gamer, you will not succumb to these gambling systems. And I gotta say, it's truly a dark time for the gaming industry. Please like and share the video. This is Jacob, logging off.